The topic is super exciting, and so I think that it will be a great conversation. Uh, an industry like mining has adapted, just to warm it up a little bit, the conversation here. 20 years ago, it was probably unthinkable to see how the mining industry could have embraced the transformation towards electrification and decarbonization. And I think that ultimately money talks, and technology have reduced their marginal cost, and solar, wind, energy storage. Now we are talking also about the possibility to replace fossil fuel with green ammonia, or eventually also green hydrogen for locomotives, vessels, and operational mining. And so that becomes really a target at the mining sector for a significant transformation that will provide benefit to the environment, and also provide in a certain way additional economic value to the industry, the mining industry itself, with additional investment, not in traditional activities like mining, but in collateral form of equipment that are helping to provide additional value to the industry. And for example, the state of Australia, that I think is playing a significant role in the decarbonization, not only of the industry like mining, but also international transportation, the role of green hydrogen. So very exciting topic.
Yeah. Well, at least here in Australia, business is leading the way in decarbonisation. I think mining can help lead the way in a way, because it really helps, be able to make it cleaner, sort of underground and safer, and just, better for the climate. So yeah, it's a win-win. When you've got a federal government here that's basically hugging coal miners, and they strictly, really tightly grasped onto the coal industry. They don't want to let go. It's sort of the businesses, they've got to lead the way, to a greener future. So I'm curious to learn, how you personally you got into sort of the energy storage, energy vault sort of space. What's your background?
I'm a mechanical engineer as a training. I got my PhD in energy economics, and since the beginning, I started to work in the energy sector first. I joined a consulting firm in Europe. Rapidly, I'm originally from Italy. I moved internationally. I started to work in Switzerland, in Germany. I also studied here in the US for my MBA. I had the opportunity to work at a GE Wind during the internship in the first and the second year of the MBA. And at one point, I wanted to push a little bit the boundaries of my experience, and I made a decision to move to China. I'm talking about 2007. So it was my experience in Asia Pacific. And at that time, there was in place the Kyoto Protocol, the very first attempt to address the climate change problem on a global scale. And as every first attempt, the architecture of that initiative was probably not ideal, because in the end there was a significant transfer of value from Europe and the West in general to developing economies without driving real technology innovation as a first attempt. I'm talking about the period between 2005 2012, and but there was clearly a great bench test for the international community to understand how to provide pricing signal to technology provider, to companies and people that want to develop new technology, starting from R&D, starting from ideas, pushing the productization of this idea, and ultimately trying to make this initiative very cost competitive. I personally started to look at energy storage as the enabler of this transition towards low carbon economy in 2015. Initially, I took a job as a managing director for a French utility, Engie. At that time, I was working for a subsidiary of Engie with a technology on hydrogen. Very interesting, probably a little bit ahead of its time, but I was a great starting point to understand the dynamic within the industry. I also took a job after the experience with Engie as a head of product with STEM, a company that is specialized in energy management system software to enable customers that use energy storage system to monetize storage that is still an expensive technology in a certain way. And I moved on and I continue my experience in storage, developing projects in the field of storage and renewable energy. For 3 years, I was head of storage at a German utility. I was based in San Francisco. And my job was to find out the ideal location where to install storage, standalone or couple with renewable energy. And that was really the perfect point of observation to identify the emerging technologies, because as a project developer, we were very interested to look for technologies with a significant potential for cost reduction and with some unique characteristics like a lack of degradation of the storage medium, possibility to interact with the industry like the mining industry in a synergistic way. And I came across Energy Vault, and that was really something very unique, because I wanted to use that technology to bid into the project that I was developing when I was working for that German utility. And at one point, I realized that there was really an opportunity to make a difference. So that was really my drive. And I joined the company as a chief product officer. And since then, we have deployed a very interesting technology platform that has solution for both short duration application and long duration application with our proprietary gravity energy storage solution. And across these two range, short and long duration, we have developed the most advanced energy management system in the industry that helps a company like BHP, Korean Zinc, that they are among our investors, to optimize their objective of decarbonization. For example, reducing the levelized cost of energy that they want to realize when they invest in renewable energy, or reducing the cost of production of green hydrogen and green ammonia.
Quite a journey for you to arrive at Energy Vault, but you sort of see that as the way of the future, I take it, like the gravity storage, all the benefits that it holds.
Yeah, the company was founded in 2017. Since the beginning, a strong focus on the market need. And so it was a combination in terms of focus on product and technology, of listening to the customer, listening to the need of, for example, large energy user like mining company or utilities or independent power producers. And on the other side, looking at a water technology quite well understood in a certain way, they could provide and could accelerate the introduction of solution that ultimately gives tools to a large company to deploy renewable energy faster. So that was really the initial point that led today at this technology platform that helps company to adapt to renewable energy faster.
Seeing that, is it Switzerland you've been trialing your commercial development unit, like the crane sort of layout? How's that gone? And you're now transitioning more into like Energy Vault Resiliency Center. Is that sort of the way of the future?
Yeah, we broke down the go-to-market in two steps. First step was to prove in a way that it was self-evident that the technology works and the technology has basic performance. So we went ahead and we wanted to install in Switzerland a commercial demonstration unit, full-scale unit, 5 megawatt, fully interconnected with the Swiss grid. And we wanted to prove that the round-trip efficiency, a very important parameter when we come to the deployment of energy storage, was above the threshold of 75%. 75% is a kind of a magic number, because if you have to run an entire cycle of charging and discharging an energy storage solution, you don't want to lose too much energy. So everybody was kind of testing our ability to be above that threshold, and going through two significant due diligence with the two utilities, we were able to prove that the technology works efficiently and is even better in terms of performance than what was originally expected. The second thing that we wanted to prove on a large scale was the ability to manufacture what we use as a storage medium, these large bricks of 35 tons each, in a very efficient way and also economically attractive. That was very important because as a long duration energy storage solution, we must have a very low marginal cost for every incremental kWh of unit of energy that we introduce into the system. So that was essential to prove that on one side, again, the round trip efficiency is above the threshold of 75%. And on the other side, we can establish a solution that has a very low marginal cost of energy.
Yeah. Is that still running, that demonstration unit, or you've moved on to the next phase?
Yeah, that unit, that location in Switzerland is really, in a certain way, our R&D center where we use new innovation. We want to test new innovative solution, and we use the same site to transition from the initial design, what we call the EV1, the crane with the multiple jeeps, to the EVX, our brand new product, and the one that we are now developing around the world, not only in Australia but also here in North America, in South Africa, and also in the Middle East, because there is a significant need for a long duration energy storage solution also in the Arabic Peninsula. And so that location has been very instrumental, was very important for us to test every element that was the innovative part of the new solution, the EVX. And we have invited many customers to witness firsthand those solutions. And now we are moving straight with the deployment of the new product that we call EVX, that has the shape of a building, is as the characteristic to decouple energy and power. So that means that if a customer requires a solution with only 3 or 4 hours of duration, we can deliver that solution. Or if a customer is more interested in longer duration solution, for example, to couple with wind and solar for a longer discharging time, we have just to add the number of mobile masses to make a longer the time for discharging.
Yeah. So that the new sort of EVX is more flexible and adaptable and I suppose stable. That's the sort of way it's going.
Very often, that is a question that we receive from customer. And one important characteristic of the EVX is that is designed in compliance with the International Building Code. So it is like a building. And this has created a lot of synergies and simplification in the permitting process. So the height of the system, because we require a certain height to store power and store energy in the form of gravitational energy, is much lower, 45% lower than the original tower. And we have been able to be in compliance with the International Building Code to making the permitting much easier. And the decoupling of energy and power provide flexibility in terms of a solution that we can provide to customers. And I think this is one of the reasons why the mining sector has been very adamant to not only to choose Energy Vault as a solution provider for energy storage, but also to invest. Because there is an additional element related to the utilization of waste material that creates synergies and enable the circular economy of materials that we are using in our system. For example, we can use coal combustion residuals or mine tailings for the manufacturing and production of the mobile masses that we need to store energy. So this creates a lot of synergies in economy and a supply chain that is very local. And in this period of time, when we see disruption in the supply chain and also some concern about a security of supply, etc., is an additional reason for a utility, mining company, and a large energy user to rely on a technology like our own solution that are insisting on a local supply, and so they are not disrupted by changing price for a lithium or other solution around the world.
Yeah. So it's a solution that can really fit just about any application. It's very adaptable, so it doesn't need very particular sort of settings to be able to be operational. So it's as broad application, I take it.
Yeah, it was very important in the last couple of years to listen very carefully to our customer in terms of requirement. Yeah. And flexibility is one of the key requirements when you have to deliver systems that want to enable a source of intermittent power like wind and solar. And so you really need a buffer in the middle. and the technology is providing essentially that element to smooth and making more reliable the energy coming from generation like solar and wind.
Okay. So you've probably gone over a couple of them, but I'm curious the advantages, disadvantages of the energy vault sort of systems compared to traditional storage, batteries, pumped hydro, whatever else. Talk about the economics and sort of the efficiency and the environmental benefits. What are those key benefits you see?
Yeah, first, Energy Vault, I believe, is a company with a unique value proposition because we have established in the last 4 years a technology platform that provides solution that answer to need for short duration energy storage and also for long duration energy storage. We have developed internally at Energy Vault a specific division called Energy Vault Solution that is able to integrate any form of energy medium to offer and provide flexibility to the customer. So if a customer is interested just in a 2 hours duration, we have technology to feed and to fit that solution. If a customer differently doesn't have constraint in terms of space available, and this happens very often in Australia, and they are interested in solution for a longer duration, we have our own proprietary gravity energy storage solution. Now, in terms of features and difference between, let's compare our gravity solution with batteries. The first thing that we can highlight is that the storage medium is not represented by an electrochemical process that is working on transferring ions from a cathode to an anode, what happened within a battery. But is associated with a more intuitive process to lift and lower heavy object. And this is something that everybody, since mid-school is familiar with, is the force of gravity that when you lift an object, is able to store energy just thanks to the elevation of that object. And when you want to release that energy, you have just to lower. So the most intuitive form of energy storage using this principle is hydropower plant with pumped characteristics, so pumped hydro. And pumped hydro use water that is funneled from an upper reservoir to the lower reservoir. And you have a turbine and a hydro turbine that convert the kinetic energy of the water into electricity. And when you have the need to store energy, you use the water from the lower reservoir, and the same machine works in reverse fashion and pumps water upstream. Essentially, our technology, Energy Vault technology, works in a very similar fashion, but instead of using a fluid like water, we use dozens of bricks, very heavy, with a higher density than water. So we take advantage of the fact that we don't need a specific geographic location to develop our solution, but we can install there wherever we can build a building. And in addition, we can take advantage of a density of our mobile masses that is double than the density of water. So we have a much higher energy density per unit of surface. So this is the fundamental difference between an electrochemical solution and our solution from the physical point of view. Now, in terms of performance, something that is very interesting and has also captured a lot of financial interest from the mining sector in Australia is the fact that our product, EVX, does not experience degradation in the storage medium. So we do not have to spend additional money or add additional mobile masses during the technical life of a system that is at 35 years, so it's pretty long. This equates to an advantage from the economic perspective because we are saving money to our customer. The round-trip efficiency of the system is, with the new product, is quite close to the round-trip efficiency of batteries, that they are best in class into the industry. So we are around 83 to 85% with a new innovative solution with a motor generator and active front end. So from that point of view, we are almost best in class. And the long technical life represents another strong incentive for a large energy user or utilities to invest on an asset that doesn't need frequent replacement of a basic component, and therefore the total cost of ownership is pretty attractive.
So that actual capital cost to set up, like I know you've got longer life, for EVX or whatever, but how to go, like for like system to actual, initial setup, would they be sort of on par or?
So this is a very interesting aspect. We have been able to position the technology with a new product in a way that we are cost competitive with batteries from the beginning, since the beginning.
Yep.
That is very important because it allows us not only to compete directly with batteries because we have the advantage of lack of degradation, but it also helps us to take advantage of price spikes. For example, what is happening currently with batteries or alternative technology, and to capture the additional profitability that we can harvest, essentially adjusting the price of our technology based on the market fluctuation of our competitive technology. And probably you noticed that Energy Vault became a public company last February 14th. And this is an element of a significant advantage in comparison with a company in the same field, because we have the ability not only to control our supply chain, but also to control also our profit margin. And as I was saying before, having a technology platform that provides multiple solutions, we can adjust our value proposition based on market condition and what customers are asking in that specific circumstance.
Yeah, that sounds good. Definitely being competitive from the get-go is great place to be. On the environmental side, like I've read that your bricks that you use, they can be made out of recycled components, whatever, locally sourced, be it waste material, whatever, different local sources, like that works well. You can make that into a good workable solution for the bricks.
Yeah, the second part of the advantage that Energy Vault has in comparison with other technologies. 1.5 years ago, we have been approached by mining companies and also utilities that were presenting us few problems. So I can mention now a couple of statistics. The power industry, just in the United States, has generated an aggregate volume equal to 1 billion tons of coal combustion residuals. This material usually is not very well understood by the public domain as a significant threat to, for example, underground water, because all this bottom ash that has been burned over the last 56 years has been dumped into ponds that have not been properly prepared to accommodate all this material. And now there is regulation here in the United States and also in Australia that require the retrofitting of these ponds for the appropriate treatment of this material, because it's full of heavy metals. So with the request from power company, we have been taking some of this material back in 2019 and testing the possibility to mix this material with a locally sourced soil that we use to manufacture our bricks. And we discovered that it's possible to push the percentage of coal combustion residuals up to 75% of the total volume of these mobile masses, and without compromising the mechanical strength of our product. So that represents a solution that is win-win for the industry. Is an advantage for the power companies because they have a lower disposal cost of a dangerous material, and is an advantage for Energy Vault because we can be more cost competitive when we provide offer for our gravity energy storage solution. Another example that was very revealing, in my opinion, is the strategic partnership agreement that Energy Vault signed with Enel Green Power more or less 1 year ago. And Enel Green Power presented us another problem. And we welcome, this possibility to have such an open dialogue with our customer. And they were pointing out to the fact that the wind industry is experiencing a kind of a crisis because there is a significant number of wind blades that after 15, 18 years, they have to be decommissioned. And the decommissioning of this object / material is kind of complicated. And the solution that has been adopted until a couple of years ago to dump these wind blades into landfill is not possible anymore. There is a regulation in Europe and also here in the United States that forbid dumping wind blades into landfills. And so we were facing this challenge. Is it possible to take old wind blades, crush these wind blades, extract recycled glass fiber, and use this glass fiber on behalf instead of new glass fiber for the manufacturing of our bricks? And the answer is yes. Without compromising the performance of the bricks, we can replace a new product with a recycled product. And this can be done at a fraction of the original cost of the virgin fiber that we would have used if we didn't have this recycled material. So it's a very interesting and inspiring aspect of our journey and our relationship with customers, because we have been able not only to provide a technology that is appreciated because of the lack of degradation, the high round trip efficiency, the long technical life, but also it represents a possibility for our customer to remediate material that otherwise would have created an environmental problem and additional cost for their disposal.
Definitely another great benefit. I am curious, like on mine sites per se, like we often have a lot of waste material. Would that be something that you'd be able to utilize to create these bricks?
So we propose to customer with mine tailings or coal combustion residuals, or in general material that represent a problem for their disposal. We propose a solution to incorporate those material into our mobile masses through a process that is able to prepare and treat that original material, that has to be properly treated, to be mixed up with the soil that we need to procure locally. And in that way, with this mixed up with the addition of our polymer that we have developed in collaboration with our industrial partner Cemex, we create a mixture that ultimately has a strength that it is just enough for the operation of our gravity energy storage system. So ultimately, it's a way to solve an environmental problem that comes without an additional cost for us, but a reduction of total cost for a customer.
Yeah, that's great to see. I like the demonstration unit sounds like it's been quite successful. Like, how long before we see the EVX, that sort of system running units of that around the world?
Yeah, this is a very interesting aspect of our experience with customers. So in the last 6 months, we have been able to welcome within our shareholders 2 important players. One is BHP from Australia, and the second important player in the mining industry is Korea Zinc. Both these players, they have a significant operation in Australia, and they invested in our company not only because they realized the significant potential that Energy Vault has within the industry, but also because they realized that it was possible to apply the technology at their sites in Australia, at their mines. And we will see the first unit breaking ground this year, both in North America and also in Australia.
Okay. Are there any particular challenges that you see that might be different in the mining industry that you have to evolve the system to? Or
I think that the mining industry is ideal for energy vault technology because very often mining operations are remotely located, and they have to replace fossil fuel to provide electricity with solar and wind. For this reason, they need long duration energy storage technologies, and Energy Vault has technology with a low marginal cost of energy, and that fits perfectly their need.
you've been involved with Electric Mine Consortium, probably since its inception, I believe. What sort of benefits has come from being part of that?
Energy Vault has launched its own operation in Switzerland and in the United States. So we immediately realized that being part of the consortium would have provided a terrific value to our understanding on the industry, and also the possibility to communicate properly to not only the giant, the largest mining company, but also company that have more local operation in Australia. So we understood that this trend of electrification of the mining industry is unstoppable, has already started, and we wanted to be part of this transition, and also to make sure we wanted to make sure that our value proposition was well understood by every player in Australia, in particular the most advanced players that are adapting, and they are playing a positive and proactive role in the transition. So that was a kind of a no-brainer for us to embrace and join the consortium.
Yeah, like a lot of the players in the sort of Electric Mine Consortium and us, probably the more mid-tier sort of mining companies that probably are more willing to do things differently. You're not necessarily stuck in the way things have been done in the past. Like, I'm just, how many of them are looking at sort of an energy vault system for their mine sites around Australia or elsewhere? Has there been, quite a bit of interest from those guys?
Yeah, that was surprising for us because we realized that almost every participant in the mining consortium has been interested to develop, to engage with Energy Vault. So we have an active discussion with many players within the Australian market and the consortium. And we have been able also to generate a significant interest and collaboration with association that I want to facilitate the introduction of innovative technology like our technology. So that has been very surprising. And I have to say that the Electric Mine Consortium has done a terrific job in promoting not only the necessity to embrace this transition, but also to play a fundamental role in identifying the right technology and also the right company that are really helping this transition either towards directly renewable energy and or a significant effort that is undergoing the adoption of green hydrogen or green ammonia for the transformation of their operations.
Good to see there's plenty of interest there. I'd be interested to see, when, some of those companies start having units installed, seeing it become a bit more widespread. Hopefully next couple of years will be, energy vault systems all over the place.
Yeah, Australia has, as you can imagine, and has a lot of land available. So for us, is an ideal location because from the geological point of view, is ideal for the construction of a large infrastructure. In terms of grid, the mining operations are remotely located, and so their interest for and the effectiveness of a long duration energy storage system it fits very well, the use case of the mining industry. And in general, all these companies are big companies. And so they are not looking for small unit. They are not looking for something that is behind the meter in the range of a kWh, but they are looking for dozens of megawatt hour. Now we are easily entering discussion for a gigawatt hour of storage. And so that really help not only the transition of that sector, at this scale, but also it is helping our economics because every project it's a it's almost hundreds of millions of dollars. And so for us, the mining industry is a target that really help the development of our technology and also the achievement of our financial goals.
No, if they could see the return, there's definitely the money there to invest. If there's a good return on from to help them detach from the grid and become self-sustainable with electricity. With this focus sort of on mining in Australia and whatever, is Energy Vault looking to have a presence sort of locally here somewhere in Australia?
Yeah, so it's a very important market for us. We have already taken significant action to follow the market very closely. First, 1 year ago, when the electric mining consortium was founded, we wanted to be part of that initiative to understand deeply what was the opportunity. And now we are about to make some announcement to make sure that we can cover very closely the market and provide the best service to the customer that are covering and that are part of the mining industries.
Okay. No, it's good to see. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the chat today and making time, and all the best with it. And hopefully I'll catch you down the track another time.